Hey, it's Mary, and I'm back with a totally righteous layout. I'm going to be showing you several different techniques today, one including that paper, and I'm going to be using these really cool photo strips that I had printed out of my daughter and myself. It was, I think it was the first watering of spring, and we decided, or she decided, to drag me out into the yard and play in the sprinklers. So that's what I am scrapbooking about today. So I'm just going through and showing you some of the papers that I was thinking about using. I am going to use this pink ombre kind of paper from the Pink Paisley Paige Evans line. And here is my inspiration for my layout design. It is a picture of Madonna. And I really liked how the title went on the side, and I liked the triangle in the background. So here's a mood board that I had created for SpiegelMom Scraps, and I'm going to start off with doing this paint technique. I used some of the SHIMMERZ ACRI-TONEZ paints. So this is the raspberry color, and then I'm going to use the Jive-In Jade color as well, and I'm going to mix it in with the white to make it look more of that teal straight from the 80s color. And so you see that I'm kind of mimicking that design in the mood board that I created. I'll show you another screenshot of it in just a few minutes because I'm going to mimic another portion of that mood board. But here I just brought out some pasties, and I will link all of the products down below. So if you wanted to get these same colors. Now in real life, this color is more of a pinky peach than an orangey peach. And I don't know why my camera doesn't pick it up right, but it's really a pretty color. So I'm adding in some of the navy color. And then on the left-hand side, you'll see that I'm mimicking the cheetah print because that animal print was huge in the 80s. So I'm not going to tell you my age, but I will tell you that I have lived through the 80s. And they were definitely amazing times. I am actually more of a 90s grunge rock kid, but I totally embraced the 80s as well. So there you just saw me do a really quick mimic of that cheetah print. Super easy. It was just like C's, and then you put another tone of color dots in the middle. So if you wanted to add that in to your repertoire of craftiness, feel free to do it. I really was gonna struggle with this theme. I'm like, what am I gonna do? I don't really want to have like 80s stuff in my binder, but this totally worked out, and I'm really glad that I just full on embraced it. And I was able to use like new product and even used up some of my older product for this challenge. So don't snub your nose at weird challenges. Just embrace them, and you never know what will come out of it. So I'm really glad that that I was able to participate in this challenge, and that the design team and Jody put together this awesome challenge. So yeah, I'm just cutting up this Pink Paisley Oh My Heart paper, and I'm deciding which orientation I want. Do I want the ombre to go up or down? And I decided I wanted the darker at the top and then the lighter at the bottom. So I almost cut into this paper, and I decided not to. So here's that close-up again of the picture that I'm going. And I found a piece of black cardstock. I really wanted a piece of black cardstock to be able to do this layout, and I couldn't find one. And then I remembered I have some like shimmery colored cardstock, and on the back of that shimmery color is just black. So I just flipped there's a shimmer on one side. It's like a dark blue shimmer, and then on the other side it's black cardstock. So yay, that worked out for me. So I went ahead and kind of placed my title down on a piece of large packaging, just so that I can get the orientation right and figure out, you know, how I wanted that to go. And the title's going to be Girls Just Want to Have Fun, because Abby just, she was definitely making sure that I went out and played in the sprinklers with her. So I got on a bathing suit and went out there and played in the sprinklers, and it was like 65 degrees. It wasn't very warm out, but I figured, you know what? You only live once, and so I did it. So here what you see me doing is grabbing this is just a gesso that when I first got into mixed media, I thought, okay, I'll try it. And so I got little tiny samples of gesso and gel medium, and it's Faber-Castell, Fabry. I don't even know how to say it. Faber-Castell. Anyway, yeah, I just gessoed it, and that's why it looked different in the tube that I squeezed it out. But that was gesso. It didn't turn out as dark or as white as I wanted it to. So then I thought, well, I'll go ahead and add some of the white ACRI-TONEZ and splatter it down on that. And I really loved how that started to look. That was really grooving 80s. So I went to town and I splattered the white down. And then I thought, I want more color on the background. So I grabbed out the highest pigmented color spritz sprays that I have, and they're Heidi Swap. So I got the teal out and the hot pink out, and then the bright yellow out, and it still didn't turn out as bright as I wanted it to. But in the end, I'm glad that it didn't turn out as bright as I wanted it to, because I feel like it would have totally clashed with the papers that I used to layer. So now I'm just going to fiddle around and figure out where I wanted the placement. Now in the 80s, they had these triangle shapes, and they kind of intersected each other in a really unique way. And so I was trying to mimic that. So yeah, you're just going to see me fiddle around with it. And then I finally figure out the placement, and I start to glue everything or tape everything down. I really wanted to tape it down instead of using my ATG, because my ATG tape is like a medium stick so that you can pull it off easier. So I used some score tape, that way it would really stick down. And then I bumped up one of those photo strips on some craft foam so that it would give it some dimension. And now I'm just going to stick down my title. I'm doing the biggest parts first, and then I'll go back in and fill it in with some embellishments. And I had to get really creative with embellishments, and you'll see that in a few minutes. So seriously, I full-on embraced the 80s in this layout. If you follow me on my channel, Create, Craft, Repeat, and I'll provide that link down below as well, I will have one more 80s inspired layout for there. And then next Friday, I will have a 90s inspired layout for SpiegelMom Scraps as well. And on those two, I just took elements that I liked from both genres or generations and incorporated it into my scrapbook, or my scrapbook page. So that's really going to be fun to show you guys how to do that. So I'm doing some journaling right now, and I wrote down that Abby begged me to go play in the yard sprinklers, and of course I said yes, even at 65 degrees. And then the little triangle pieces that you see me putting down is a DIY that I had done with some Shrinky Dinks a while back that were the perfect color for embracing the 80s. So I just used my triangle punch, and I colored them with, I think I colored these particular ones with colored pencil, and then I used my heat gun to shrink them up, and they turned into little acrylic pieces. So if you guys wanted to try that at home, it's super fun and addicting, and you can even cut it on your silhouette machine. So you can cut out whatever shape that you want and just use colored pencil, or you can use like a Sharpie to do it. I liked the colored pencil because it was lighter than a Sharpie, and then when you heat it, everything becomes even more pigmented. So maybe I will do a tutorial on how to do that for DIY embellishments. So here I'm placing down some chipboard pieces. This is from the new Amy Tangerine line. And I decided that I needed that awesome thicker word to pop out a little bit. So I went straight back to my childhood and doodled the crap out of it. It was awesome. It made me feel like I was back in school. I won't tell you what grade, but I was in school. And and totally, you know, doodling when I should have been paying attention to what the teacher was saying. Yeah, so I put in some like hearts and peace signs and AC/DC, like lightning bolts, you know, the things that I totally would have been adding into my sketches at school. And I even did it on my backpack. Did you guys do that? I mean, I had patches on my backpack, and I would take a Sharpie and Sharpie up my backpack. And then I kept the same backpack all the way up through high school. So middle school and high school, there I did it. I gave away my age. So in middle school and high school, I had the same exact backpack, and it was full of amazing treasures over the years. So here I just took some Amy Tangerine paper. I think that this was from her very first line. And I fussy cutted out some cameras. And I ended up using another of the blue thickers from the new Amy Tan line, the Super. So now it says Super Awesome. And now I'm going to go back and use some papers just to use as embellishments. I'm going to find some things to fussy cut out. So I found that camera with the fuchsia colored, purple colored background, and I'm going to pull that. I'm going to cut up some of those sketchy hearts to use. And one of my tricks is I had a really bold colored layout in the background. So use like solid color embellishments or black embellishments to go on top of that color. Because if I was to use like pattern color on top of all of that other pattern, it totally would have gotten lost. So that's how come I kind of struggled with using some embellishments. Also, you know, we live in 2017, and so there's not many 80s embellishments out there. Amy Tangerine is a great line to go for if you're going to throw in some stuff from the 80s into your layouts. So anyway, I got this circle. It said, "Remember this forever." And that was just something I had punched out as well from the Amy Tangerine line. And then I'm going to fuss around with the camera. I'm going to throw in that chipboard heart up at the top right to bring that black up to the top right. Since that camera down on the bottom left was pretty heavy, I needed to bring some of that black up to the top right. I fussy cut out this thing that says, "Here we go." I ended up not liking it only because I felt like there were just so many letters and so many places to read already on the layout that I didn't want to add one more spot. I still think it would have looked cute, but I like the way that the hearts that I used turned out better. But it was another option, I guess. I'm going to go ahead and pop these up on some foam, and I just use the sticky foam that you can get. It's like Scotch brand. I don't know if it's acid free. I don't really care. I just create things and don't really think twice about it. So this little FLAIR badge is from my friend Becky Sher. She is on Instagram, and I will go ahead and link her down below. She has an Etsy shop, and she makes these awesome FLAIR badges, and she's super sweet. So at least go follow her on Instagram. So I've pulled out my sequins. I'm using the Neon Summer sequins, which were perfect for this layout. It added a bit of hot pink, which I didn't have much hot pink. It was mostly that fuchsia purpley color. And so I really liked how that turned out. And the triangle on the top left, which you'll see better in the close-ups, was more of an orange than a yellow once I put it on the background because the background muted it a little bit. So I brought in some orange flowers from that Neon Summer mix to the bottom right just to balance that out. It also kind of tied in that peachy color It wasn't really as pink as I was hoping for, but it was not quite orange. It's flat out peach. There's just no other way to describe it. And then I'm going to take my Signo Uniball white gel pen and do some little doodles and sketch around the outside of it to give it a border. And that's going to conclude my totally righteous, awesome layout. So stay tuned for some close-ups. Again, I'm going to show you some inspiration for the mood board, and I hope you guys have a totally awesome weekend, and I will talk to you guys later. Cowabunga, dudes! You know I had to do it. Come on. All right, bye.